Good evening.
We got prepared to start the meeting. We've gone ahead and muted everybody who is not one of the Republic Planning and Zoning Commissioners. So that's so that we don't have any confusion and no background noise during the discussion of the items. We'll provide an opportunity for everyone who is here to make a comment on a particular item. We'll allow everyone an opportunity to speak on the item of their interest during the public comment period for that item.
Commissioners, just as a reminder, please make sure that you're filling out the findings of fact during the public hearing portion for each rezoning case tonight. Also make sure you put those in the mail for us tomorrow morning or drop those by our office.
I better go in another room.
You ready to go?
I believe we're ready.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. The first item of business, you want to call the roll?
Commissioner Andrews,
Here.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
I am here.
Commissioner Phelps, Commissioner Pedersen,
Here.
Commissioner Hyder,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I hear you.
Here.
Yes. Chairman?
Good.
We're ready.
Okay. First item of business is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions, subtractions, or comments?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Sorry, didn't hear you.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Was that a motion to, hold on just a minute. If I lose you, no, that's better. Now, repeat, please.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I hear you. I hear you now. Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Phelps, Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Okay. Move to the next order of business, which is the approval of the minutes of the P and Z Commission meeting, May 11, 2020. Comments, additions, subtractions? Motions.
I motion to approve the minutes for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on May 11th.
Thank you, Brandon. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Call.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Phelps, Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen.
Aye.
Okay. We're good. We have two hearings tonight, public hearings. Before we have the first, I'm going to read a presentation as opening statement concerning our hearings. The Planning and Zoning Commission holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on matters relating to land use, zoning, and the subdivision of land. Any person who has an interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and present evidence to the commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, including applause, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. The following applies to persons addressing the commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized additional time by me. Speakers must speak when they are called, unless previous arrangements have been made by me. Speakers must legibly or must state their name before they begin and their address before you begin speaking. And speakers must speak clearly so that we can understand you. And if we can't, someone's going to tell you, because we need to hear you so we can consider your remarks. The chairperson will announce the subject of the hearing, followed by a report from the staff. The chairperson will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application and those opposed to the application. The chairperson will close the public hearing during this time, at that time, and the commission members will discuss in the public session their concerns or acceptance of that, make a decision, possibly make a decision to move the matter forward. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded in writing to the City Council for further consideration. With those procedures in mind, we move to the first public hearing, which is rezone 20-004. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 0.47 acres located at 127 East Mill Street from medium density single family R1M to 2-family R2. Karen, are you presenting on this?
Yes, I am, Chairman.
All right, will you please do so?
Thank you. April and Brian Swanson applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 4.7 acres of property located at 127 East Mill. This rezoning classification request is from medium density single family residential, which is the R1M, to 2-family residential, which is R2. The property is currently vacant, containing no residential or accessory structures. The applicant has expressed interest in building a duplex on the parcel if the rezoning request is approved. The following narrative contains a brief analysis of present site conditions as well as the proposal's relationships to adopted plans of the city. And in regards to consistency with the comprehensive plan, the city's comprehensive plan generally encourages the expansion of residential development through proactive rezoning of land at appropriate locations. These locations are generally described throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. The plan describes a appropriate future land use designation known as the future land use map for each parcel within the city. In this case, the plume depicts the subject property as having a Main Street District plume designation. The city's adopted 2005 land use plan has identified the Main Street District flume as a mixed-use area described as Downtown Republic, mix of office, retail, commercial, multifamily, and loft residential. The Main Street District was introduced in the land use plan to accommodate future recommendations from a Main Street development plan. This plan was aimed to guide development in the areas surrounding Main Street. This plan's goal was to create new regulations for new development and redevelopment by creating a new zoning district known as the Main Street District. Although the Main Street District was codified as a new zoning district, the area identified in the flume does not contain any MSD zoning. The 2005 land use plan identifies land use goals and objectives related to residential development as follows. Goal number 1, cost-effective private development density. Encourage higher density development that will reduce the amount of infrastructure and cost to the developer and reduce the maintenance cost by the city. Goal number 2, encourage the development of infill housing. Goal number 3, diversify the Republic housing market. Goal number 4, improve the quality of all types of housing in the city. The 2005 Land Use Plan also identifies neighborhood principles and development guidelines, which will provide guidance for how a mixture of land uses can work together to create a community. Principle: Republic should be a full-service community for a diverse population consisting of neighborhoods designed for human interaction. The guideline provided for this principle is as follows: a range of housing types and sizes to accommodate a household of all ages and sizes should be provided in each Republic neighborhood. A mix of housing types within a neighborhood creates visual and economic variety, as well as opportunities for a more diverse population. The general trend of development in the vicinity of the subject property on East Mill and surrounding streets is that of a neighborhood of well-established single-family dwellings. As far as compatibility with surrounding land uses, the subject property is surrounded by medium-density single-family residential zoning to the north, south, east, and west. The adjacent properties appear to be utilized as single-family residences, with the exception of property located at the north, to the north at the corner of South Pine Avenue and East Elm Street, which appears to be utilized as a multifamily complex. The land use district permits in the two-family residential zoning districts include single-family dwellings, zero lot line dwellings, duplexes, two-family dwellings, and residential accessory structures. Staff has reviewed the rezoning request in terms of the city's capacity to serve. The parcel contained a single-family residential home until several years ago when the home was demolished. The home was served by a City of Republic water and sanitary sewer service. The site was previously served by a 6-inch water main and an 8-inch sanitary sewer main, both located along East Mill Street. The sanitary sewer flows to the Schuler Creek lift station and then through a fourth main to the wastewater treatment facility. Both the lift station and treatment facility do have capacity to serve the site. The city's water system currently has capacity to serve a potential duplex at this location. As far as transportation, a traffic impact study was not required for the rezoning application due to the very low increase in traffic volumes for a single parcel zoned for two-family occupancy. The subject parcel does not contain any floodplain area. The subject parcel does not contain any identified sinkholes. Upon review of the rezoning request, staff considers the proposed rezoning to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comp plan, generally consistent with the trend of residential development in the area, generally compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be served by municipal utilities. Based upon the analysis performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval.
Thank you, Karen. We'll hear from the applicant. Is the applicant present and wish to come forward?
Yes.
Please,
I am.
please identify yourself and give your address.
April Swanson. I'm at 2611 East Kentwood Street in Republic.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I would just thank you for the report. I would first just like to express my passion for this type of project and let you know that I feel like I'm an informed citizen. I've been an occupational therapist for 19 years. And for 8 of those years, I have been in hundreds of homes in Republic. And so I feel like I have sampled many a home and seen many design problems that limit people's ability to utilize their homes the way they should be able to. Home and my design is going to be accessible, affordable, and be built with the land, like the person in mind who will use it. I feel like I've collected a lot of qualitative and quantitative evidence, but your report is very supportive. And so I'm going to skip some of that and just say, yes, it's very close to Main Street, which was one of my points, and it supports a mixed use and it supports your goals. And so some of the qualitative evidence that I collected was from just a lot of community members that were in support and that are curious about it and really actually want to move their family members there. But I'll skip through some of that. Other evidence that I wanted to just talk about was, in just a short time, by 2038, we're predicting that there will be more people over the age of 65 than there are children. This has never happened in our population. 1 in 5 people will be over the age of 65. An accessible house that is a duplex where it creates a community living environment is something that Republic needs. The neighbors can check on neighbors. If people have limited abilities, this type of design that I am doing will support their needs, and they will be able to live in their home that they choose for as long as possible. I feel like it being a duplex kind of helps meet a social isolation problem that we have. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans 65 and older are socially isolated, and that was before the pandemic. And that leads to more health problems, more healthcare costs to us as Americans. And then 28% of Americans over 65 live alone. And this isn't just for older adults, it's also for people with a disability or anyone. I mean, anyone could use this type of structure, but I just feel like the duplex would be best for meeting the economical needs too, because it helps me as an owner keep the rent low. And I just want to thank you for considering this and the work that you've done and for hearing my project. So, and I'd be happy to answer any questions too.
There may be questions later from the commission, so hang on.
Okay.
We will be deciding this after all of the people have an opportunity to participate in the hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other persons that are in favor of the application that wish to speak? Not hearing or seeing anyone come forward. Is there anyone that wishes that is opposed to the application that wishes to speak?
I think they're on mute.
Thank you.
Leah's.
Just a
Yeah.
minute. I don't have the unmute wand.
Did I get it unmuted?
You did.
I can hear you. Hold
Okay.
on. Hold on just a second. Let me double check. I'm sorry. Okay, good. I'm informed that we were unmuted. So I will ask again, is there anyone, let me take a step backwards. Is there anyone who supports the application who wishes to speak?
Yes.
Okay, and identify yourself, please.
My name is Leah Pennon,
Okay.
and
Go ahead, give me your address.
I reside at 129 South Main, so I'm very close to the area where she's proposing to build the duplex.
Okay, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say I've saw the plans and it looks very nice. I think it would be a very welcome addition to our neighborhood. I would certainly be extremely happy for one of my family members to live in it. I have a mother that's in her 70s that's recently widowed, and it's something I would be very happy to see her move into. That was just my main thought. I think it would raise property values for the neighborhood, and it just seems like a a very nice addition to me.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on behalf of the application, in support of the application?
Yes, I do. My
Okay.
name's Dan
Go ahead.
White.
Okay. All right,
My-
go ahead. You
My
have 5
name's
minutes.
Dan White. My address is 2116 East Haley, Republic. I have known April for 4 or 5 years. We're both on the board of directors for Empower Abilities, which is a nonprofit that serves people with disabilities. And she and I both have a passion for accessible homes, affordable accessible homes. And I've seen the plans and I think they're wonderful. We have a great need for accessible homes in this area and all of the Ozarks and Springfield area. So I think it'd be wonderful.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that supports the
Yes.
application? Okay. Tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name is Les White. I also live at 2116 East Haley. And we've known April for several years. And one of the biggest problems we had moving here was finding an accessible house that my wife could navigate through with her electric wheelchair. They virtually don't exist. And everything has to be modified. And so this is really wonderful to build houses that are already accessible. And we need more and more of them. So what April is doing here is really wonderful. So I am totally for it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Not hearing anybody, and I think the mute's off. So is there anyone that wishes to speak against the application? No one coming forward to speak against the, I'm sorry, did I miss somebody?
This is Randy Taylor, 133 East Mill Street. Our house is actually the one that is connected to that property. So if it's all right, I'd like to take just a moment.
Go ahead.
I admittedly don't know a lot about the type of housing that April is talking about. I know that, and I'm a pretty open-minded when it comes to all of this. If there's the thought that it's actually going to increase property value, I would be very interested to hear how that is. However, in just the normal everyday thought of a duplex, typically it does not serve to increase property values. Typically, in talking to my realtor, I think somewhere between 10 and 20%. A drop in value is more along the lines. I don't know enough about this particular type of development to know that will or won't. But I know that we are actually selling that house. Long story, I won't go into that. We bought it with intentions to be there. Some things happened. We weren't able to, so I'm having to sell the home. And with it on the market right now, Republic is a great place to be. And a lot of the homes are in the upper tier of pricing. And I know that if my property value does go down a substantial amount, it can move me from an upper tier price point to a lower tier price point quickly, which if it does and I lose enough value, then my options for my home that is connected to that property become bad choices. If the value goes down enough, I have to start considering the option to rent that home myself, or do owner financing, or go into options that I really don't care to with the property. My expectation when I bought it, I never thought about it being rezoned, looking at the age of the neighborhood, the mature trees, the type of neighborhood that I was buying in. So never gave a second thought to whether or not it would be a home that would be built to me or not. I expected that someone would come in and build a home that pretty much fit the street itself as to how it looked already with regard to it looks more like a historic street. And so that was kind of the idea originally. And when I am attempting to sell it, I would assume that would still be the appeal for someone else to come in and buy the home. It was mentioned earlier as far as the sewer. Obviously, with us owning the home such a short period of time, I don't know much about that. In talking to my next door neighbor, he did say that there had been issues with sewer in the past, and that there was water backup. I don't know how prevalent that is in that street, so I don't know how a duplex would affect that. I just know that what information I have right now, I don't know that this will help or hurt my property value, but for someone who's got a lot invested into a home, I can honestly tell you it's a scary proposition that I could lose 10 to 20% and have to consider other options, because it sounds like April's option for renting is very specific. If I have to rent my home, my options will not be nearly as specific. They will be based on the fact that I've got a home that I've got to pay for that I don't live in, and I will need to rent it to someone. So.
Are you done?
I believe so.
Not hurrying you. You got less than a minute.
Well, I would just say that going forward, other folks in that neighborhood, and it's an established neighborhood, so a lot of people will not be moving from that neighborhood. However, if they do, they're going to have to consider all the same considerations I'm considering now. I'd hate to see an entire neighborhood turned into a rental neighborhood down the road, because our homes are not set up like April's to where it's as specific.
Okay, you're now out of time. Thanks. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in opposed to the application? I'm not hearing anybody, so I'm going to close the hearing. The commission will now discuss this matter. Does any of the commissioners have comments or issues on this?
Chairman, may I address the commission?
Who's speaking?
Karen.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're turned the other way. I couldn't see your lips.
Sorry.
Thank
I'm trying to talk into the microphone.
Sure.
I did send out 2 petitions that the City of Republic has received to date to the Planning and Zoning Commission earlier today. Along with those 2 signed petitions is also a buffer map showing all the property owners within 185 feet of the subject property. I do want to recall with you just the procedure for rezoning in regards to petitions. I'll read through that section. Such regulations, restrictions, and boundaries may change from time to time. In case, however, of a protest against such duly signed and acknowledged by the owners of 30% or more, either of the areas of land exclusive of streets and alleys included in such proposed change, or within an area determined by lines drawn parallel to and 185 feet distance from the boundaries of the district proposed to be changed, such amendment shall not become effective except by the favorable vote of 2/3 of all the members of City Council. This is in relation to Section 89 of the Missouri State Statutes relative to public hearings and official notice. So I wanted to just bring that to your attention, as we will also with City Council. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay.
I will note that we did not get 2/3 petition as of today.
Okay. All right. We will now move into the commissioners speaking. Hold on a second.
at all. That's all. I'm sorry. No question. Move fast. How long?
I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a hearing right now.
That's what I want to hear about too. I just want to move. I'm probably not. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay, commissioners, discussion?
Karen,
Everybody- Go ahead.
how many duplexes are in that Main Street district, whatever? The Main Street district.
On East Elm Street.
Yeah, just I mean, in that Main Street district or whatever, the is there the entire area that is like called Main Street District?
Yeah, we could provide that number for you. We would have to do an analysis to look at the entire area, any legal duplexes with current R2 zoning, and then any potentially non-compliant duplexes or multifamily without R2 zoning. But we could certainly look at that. I will point out in this particular area, all of the surrounding parcels are the medium density, with the exception of property to the north. You can see it is actually yellow, meaning it is medium density, but it does have a triplex and a duplex on that particular parcel. So if you look at the map that's on the screen, all of the yellow is medium density single family, and the blue is going to be manufacturing, and the light pink is going to be commercial. And if you look at the inset smaller map, you'll see a bigger picture of the Main Street area and the Main Street district. You'll see that most of the area is yellow, which is that medium density single family residential. There are no, the only one that is actually duplex zoning would be the orange one at the very top of your screen, at the very top of the inset map.
So that property just directly north to it, why aren't they a two-family residential zoning if you say it was a triplex and a duplex?
We would definitely have to look into that a little bit more. Chances are that it's just a non-compliant, meaning that it was existing prior to our current zoning regulations, or over time it developed from a single-family residential house and probably an accessory structure or possibly garage into a multifamily dwelling.
Any other questions?
Karen?
Yes.
It's Brandon. So when we're talking about the compatibility with surrounding land uses, and we're talking about rezoning something that's surrounded by, what is it, single medium density?
Mm-hmm.
What, is it compatible because it's still residential, or is it compatible because we're saying that it's okay to use that type of zoning for the Main Street district?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, traditionally we think of zoning districts as being transitional, so going from lower density to higher density. So medium density single family is your typical single family dwelling district. Then you would have those transitional before you get to multifamily and commercial. So R2 often serves as that transitional zoning district between single family and multifamily. That's often what we find in the City of Republic, although there are subdivisions throughout that do have both a zero lot line and duplexes intermixed into neighborhoods with single family dwellings. I think the the comp plan addresses it the best, saying that the comp plan supports various types of residential zoning districts within a neighborhood. A mix of housing types within a neighborhood creates visual and economic variety, as well as opportunities for a more diverse population. So although it's not something that we see as often as other types of rezoning cases, the 2005 land use plan clearly identifies this intermix of densities as something that is good for the community and addresses one of the principles under the neighborhood principles and development guidelines.
Thank you, Karen.
Anyone else? There any motions?
Chairman, I motion to vote on the approval of REZN 20-004.
Yeah. I have a motion to recommend the approval of the application to change the zoning classification of approximately 0.47 acres located at 127 East Mill Street from medium density, single family to two family R2. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Unmute Cynthia.
Commi-
Cynthia, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I have no idea how I got remuted. Aye.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Nay.
Commissioner Phelps.
Is Randy here?
Oh, he's not.
Okay, fine. I just wondered if I wasn't the only one that wasn't hearing his vote.
I
Okay,
was right there with you.
we have completed that hearing. We go to the next. The next hearing is rezone 20-005. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 0.47 acres located at 616 North Phelps Avenue from medium density single family R1M to high density single family R1H. Karen?
Thank you, Chairman. White Oak Holding LLC has applied for a zoning classification change of approximately 0.47 acres located at property at 616 North Phelps. This rezoning request is from medium density single family residential R1M to high density single family residential R1H. This particular property contains a single family residential structure that is not in good condition. The owner of the property does intend to remove that structure. The applicant has expressed interest in demolishing the existing structure, subdividing the parcel into two parcels, and building two new single-family residential dwellings. As before, I'll go through a short narrative of the TRT's review of the rezoning request in relationship to the adopted plans of the city. As far as consistency with the comprehensive plan, again, the city's comprehensive plan encourages expansion of residential growth at appropriate areas. These areas include locations that are capable of supporting various intensities and densities of use. A future land use map designation for this particular property has a medium-density, single-family residential district designation. This particular designation is an area of two-family residential development of 4 to 7 units per acre and associated neighborhood institutional uses. The 2005 Land Use Plan identifies land use goals and objectives related to residential development. These goals are as follows. Goal number 1, to provide cost-effective private development density, encourage higher density development that will reduce the amount of infrastructure and cost to the developer and reduce the maintenance costs to the city. Goal number 2, encourage the development of infill housing. Goal number 3, diversify the Republic housing market. Goal number 4, improve the quality of all types of housing in the city. Again, the 2005 Land Use Plan identifies neighborhood principles and development guidelines, which provides guidance for a mixture of land uses that can work together to create a community. The principle here is Republic should be a full-service community for a diverse population, consisting of neighborhoods designed for human interaction. The guideline for this principle is as follows: a range of housing types and sizes to accommodate a household of all ages and sizes within each Republic neighborhood. A mix of housing types within a neighborhood creates visual and economic variety, as well as opportunities for a more diverse population. The general trend of development in the vicinity of the subject property along North Phelps Avenue and surrounding streets is of well-established single-family dwelling neighborhoods. The subject property is surrounded by medium-density single-family residential zoning to the north, south, east, and all appear to be utilized as single-family residences. The land use permitted in the high-density single-family residential zoning districts include single-family dwellings, residential accessory structures, golf courses, and schools. The parcel contains an uninhabitable single-family home served by Republic Water and Sanitary Sewer Service. The site is served by a 4-inch water main and 8-inch sanitary sewer main located along North Phelps Avenue. The sanitary sewer flows directly to the wastewater treatment plant. The city's water system and wastewater treatment facility currently do have the capacity to serve potentially 2 new single-family residential dwellings at this location. A traffic impact study was not required for the rezoning application due to no increase in traffic volume for a single parcel to transition from a medium density to a high density single-family residential zoning. A potential minor subdivision dividing the parcel into 2 parcels will not increase the traffic volumes to warrant a traffic impact study. The subject parcel does not contain any floodplains, and the subject parcel does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed map amendment or rezoning to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comp plan, consistent with the trend of residential development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis, performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Thank you, Karen. Is the applicant present?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you wish to speak?
Well, I think Karen pretty much summarized it. It's uninhabitable structure. It needs to come down one way or the other. Trying to start my video. There I am. You know, at about 77 feet on each lot. I think we can put a nice home on each lot, kind of raise the bar on that street in that neighborhood. I've got a few others located over there, and just think it's an appropriate use for that lot and its size. It's an old, older home, obviously, if it's uninhabitable, and it came with the large lot. So, we can divide it, and I had White Engineering do the proposed minor sub, and put 2 nice single-family homes on it. That's all I have. Unless there's any
Okay.
questions.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in favor of the application wish to speak? All right, moving to the opposed. Is there anyone who's opposed to the application that wishes to speak? Not hearing anybody coming forward, so I'm going to close this hearing. We'll move to the discussion. Commissioners have any issues? I'm going to start out with something that just an observation. When you have that plat of that area up, it would appear to me that the lot sizes on in that plat are just random. I mean, you have the 0.47 on the one that is to the application, and one directly to the, whatever it is, to the right on the picture is another very large lot that looks like it's a double lot, actually. And the one that's directly below it is also a very large lot, larger than the applicant lot. Do you have any idea why that is?
Chairman, I think over the course of time, many of these lots have been reconfigured. If you look at the legal descriptions in a lot of these older neighborhoods, they consist of the lots themselves and then a half or a third of the lot adjacent, meaning at some point back in, I think the subdivision was platted in like the 1890s or early 1900s. Between then and now, it's probably been reconfigured multiple times for whatever type of structure was required at that particular point in time.
Do those, out of curiosity, also, those two very large lots that are on two sides of the applicant lot, do they have one residence in the middle, or do they have one on the, closer to one side? Yes, those are the two. Do you know?
Yeah,
There looks like there's
those-
one right in the middle of that one.
Which I believe is the case with Steve's lot here. It is actually a lot plus a half of another lot is the legal description. So in all likelihood, back in the early 1900s, it may have been two individual lots with two individual homes. And since then, those homes went away. The lots were combined to make a larger parcel when that was kind of popular and in trend about 50 and 60 years ago. And one home was built in the center of that lot.
Okay, it's just observations and of interest. Anyone else have questions?
I had a question on the sewer. Karen, I think we spoke about one of those lots before, and I think one of the comments the city said was there was concern about the city being able to handle the multiple houses on those lots if one was to do that. Is that not a concern anymore?
Well, on this particular lot, in concern with where the sewer is going, it is flowing directly to the wastewater treatment facility, and you are only adding one residence. So the engineering department did review this and did determine that the installation of one additional house will not cause any negative impacts on the system.
What happens when this dominoes those other two lots into multiple houses on them?
Yeah, if at any point the entire neighborhood starts to redevelop and subdivide into two parcels, there may be a concern in general terms as far as the capacity and condition of the 4-inch sewer mains in this particular location.
Just as a matter of history, I think I'm the oldest person in terms of term on the commission now. When I first started 15 or 20 years ago, it was not unusual at all to have what was called a lot split. And that's exactly what this is. It's a lot split. And then we got away from doing that. And we didn't do it. And then we went into zoning, did more efficient zoning, which was a good thing. And I'm not saying it's a good thing to do this or a bad thing. I'm just making an observation about the past, and we're kind of coming full circle around. And lot splits turned out to be a very problematic thing for the commission because of changing nice large lots into relatively small lots in an area with a lot of other large lots. So whatever, no one's come forward from the surrounding area to explain about it.
Correct, and an administrative lot split is taken care of just administratively by our department. I would also note, though, we now have the capacity in the Public Works Department for any type of rezoning case to evaluate in our software for water and sewer the impact of that potential development on the entire system. This is something that's relatively new in the last month and a half. So we're proactively using that now, and it can address any concerns regarding wastewater and water during the point of staff's evaluation of a rezoning. So it's real-time information as far as water and sewer capacities now.
In terms of the domino effect of this, at this point, wouldn't it just be first come, first serve until there's an issue? I mean,
yeah. So
we
as far as
can't
capacity,
say what is.
Oh,
as
I
far as
absolutely agree with
capacity-
you. I absolutely agree
way
with
that
you until the other people come and say, hey, if you turn the next group down, then you're going to get it.
Right. As far as capacities are concerned, when we go through like a major subdivision may have 100 lots. If it's approved and goes all the way to through final plating stage, that allocation for water and sewer service is made during that process. So whether those lots actually are constructed with single-family dwellings right away or 2 years from now, we've allotted that capacity. So every time we do a lot split, whether it's a major subdivision that runs through the commission and city council or minor lot splits, everyone on the TRT is aware of that, and we are accounting for that in our system analysis.
So the reason that we're hearing this, and it wasn't just done administratively, is because the lots are a small enough size that we had to change the zoning.
Yes, so Steve wanted to split the lot, but with the medium density district, he would have needed a minimum of 160 linear feet along the frontage, and he didn't have that. So he couldn't use the current zoning designation and do a lot split. That's why he had to go to the smaller lot configuration, which is the high density single family. It's a smaller lot size by 2,000 square feet. It's a minimum square footage of 7,000 square feet. So he'll be able to do that lot split right down the middle of that lot and create 2 new high density single family parcels.
Any other questions from the commission? Do you hear a motion?
Hey, I got a question.
Okay.
Steve, can I ask you, you're gonna build 2 houses and then you're gonna have it split? Is that your kind of goal, or?
Just to split it, right. Just, if you drive up and down that street, you look at that neighborhood, in my opinion, it's not a great place for me to raise that one home and build another single family home in the center of that large lot. I think I can appeal to more folks, make it more attractive aesthetic by splitting it and putting 2, single family homes on smaller lots. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
These big lots, and depending on the neighborhood, of course, and the surrounding properties, but these big lots with one home in the middle doesn't look like a good place for me to do that over there. Which is why I went with this, but I came up 6 foot short of being able to just divide it straight down the middle without going high density. across the frontage.
I hear anything from the commission? I hear a motion.
Move to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 4.47 acres located at 616 North Phelps Avenue from medium density single family to high density single family. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Phelps, Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
All right. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Crawford, if you're still on. Move to the next item of business. There is none, other business. Citizen participation. Is there anyone left on the online that wishes to speak to us about any matter that we have not otherwise talked about tonight involving zoning or planning? Not hearing anybody come forward. Do we have a community development department update tonight?
Chairman, we do not have a SOAR update or a community development update this evening. I would just like to mention, thank you all for joining us again on Zoom for our commission meetings. And also, please make sure that you return the findings of fact to me, either in the self-addressed stamped envelope. You could scan it to me and email it, or drop it by our office as soon as possible.
Hey,
Okay.
Karen.
Yes.
Hey, kind of embarrassing here, but I filled the wrong ones out. I crossed them up. Can I just cross off the 4 and write a 5, or do I need to come in and get new copies of these?
Nope, just make that notation. It doesn't really matter. The form is exactly the same. So just switch the numbers and the heading.
Okay.
From
Thank you.
5. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you all. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, there's, thank you. You got it. That's always quick seconds. Always gets a quick second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Pedersen,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Phelps.
We're good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good month.